Okay, there we go. All right. Hey. We're here talking about the 64 weeks of nonviolence, and today the topic is humility, which is awesome. Having humility, like being humble, being able to learn from your mistakes, I think being humble sometimes, or having humility, means seeing the bigger picture. Mm-hmm. Like it requires for you not to be selfish and encompass the whole situation or environment.
Make yourself kind of small a little bit in a way.
Yeah. So here's the...
To see the bigger picture, not to belittle yourself, but just to see the bigger picture. Okay, so day 14 for the adult version of the journals for 64 days of nonviolence, or weeks of nonviolence.
No, this is the kid version.
Oh, this is the kid version. Sorry. Tell someone you trust about a mistake you made and how you might have done it differently. So I just had to have this talk with Parker. Parker.
This is not for him. Okay. Phone.
Oh.
1 second. Oh.
So I just had to have a talk with Parker. She was staying at the park. While the kids were messing with old fireworks and stuff like that. And instead of telling me the truth, she told someone else, which I'm happy she told someone else. But I don't know why she didn't tell me. It's just...
We're so sorry. I thought I had to move it a little over.
Sorry about that, guys.
Do you have a new phone?
No.
Okay, we're sorry.
You're supposed to...
I'm sorry, we're trying to
tell someone you trust about a mistake you made and how you might have done it differently. I'm definitely going to go over that one part.
Yeah, so go ahead. So you can do that with your kids, like, sometimes it's like,
realizing that you make mistakes.
Yeah, and you can tell them a mistake that you made to start that conversation. Like, I made a mistake, I went to work, I didn't clock in, I started working. But the rule of my job is I have to clock in before I start working. Mm-hmm. So even though I was there on time, I'm technically in trouble. And then that can open up the dialogue for like, what kind of mistake have you made that you maybe want to talk about, But just sometimes, be humble. Start it with a mistake that you've made, or you could say, because this is something I used to do when I was raising kids, is be like, Torsten, I shouldn't have talked to you like that.
Oh, yeah.
But I was really upset, and I need for you to understand how serious I am. So I apologize if I yelled, cussed, fussed, whatever. But I want you to understand like how serious I am, and that I love you unconditionally. So I apologize for the tone, but I'm so serious about the conversation.
Right.
And that's okay. Like, as parents, we feel heated or emotional about certain things because we can't imagine our kids, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I know Parker's gonna mess up.
Yeah, going through stuff, and so you have to, sometimes you have to have humility, even like when you're like punishing your kid, because you have to recognize that not everything that you, every conversation during that punishment process might have been appropriate.
Right.
Like I just feel like I was a yeller and a screamer when my kids were young, and I hate that now. But I wish I wouldn't have been, but I guess that's just where I was at in my maturity.
Look, I found flowers.
Nice, all right.
See? They look pretty flowers.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This one's for you. The other one's for you.
Thanks, Parky. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Parker.
So we got some yellow
It's so hot
flowers.
outside.
All right.
You said
That's
so hot?
Come play over here. Come play in the. Make sure the door's shut, and then come play over here. Turn the light on and hang out in there.
Parker,
What?
come here. What's something that you made a mistake and did? You want to talk to the camera? Come here. You want to tell somebody something that you did that you knew was wrong? Let's see.
One day I didn't turn around yet I burned myself.
Oh, jeez. All right, that was a firecracker.
Yeah, that's a situation. I want to see if she.
It is what it is.
I want to see if she at least learned her lesson.
Flower yellow.
Yes, it matches my shirt. I got the lemonade shirt on today.
What's in my didn't tell my mom? Well, there's her humility.
And I think when you have the conversation conversation, then it's not hard for a kid to be humble.
Yes.
It's like becomes part of their character. Where when you don't have those conversations with your kids, then it's like hard, like, oh, I gotta say I was wrong. Hold up. Like I'm not used to doing that.
Because
That's
the
hard
parents
for
aren't
me to
used to
do,
doing that.
you know?
So-
Yeah. So like definitely like have those conversations, because then that topic is easier for them, because they recognize the conversation is not relating to like punishment or consequences. It's just a conversation.
Yep. And then the adult version, making mistakes is a part of learning, growing, simply an error and approach. Today, freely acknowledge at least one mistake you make and reflect for a couple minutes on what you have learned.
So I think like, wait, we're trying this on. So, I mean, so I just admitted like, when I was a young parent, I guess because you're stressed when you're a young parent, you're figuring everything out, your parenting skills are maybe a little more rough around the edges, and I was one of those parents that used to scream all the time. Like I was a screamer. I'm not a screamer anymore. I'm beyond that stage in my life, but I was at that stage for probably 18 years of my life, you know, because I'm going to school, I'm working, I'm trying to raise these kids. I want to make sure the conversations I have with them, they are like really listening to me, and when I'm having those conversations, I'm feeling really, well, you know, like another thing I'm going to say is I have a special needs kid, and I have a very defiant child. For a long time, he was very defiant, and those things equate to a lot of disrespect, and old school parents like myself just ain't gonna tolerate the shit. Sorry.
That's the truth.
And so I had to let him know, and then, you know, like, this isn't going down like this over here, and you're not gonna talk like that. And part of that, those dialogues would be heated sometimes, you know? Not like a beater or anything, but I am like a, listen, like, you can't talk like that to somebody, and what kind of crap is that? And you can't, you know, like, what? You're part of this family, and you walk out and...
But you're a boy mom too, though. Boy moms they have that little bit of...
He was coming at me pretty strong, so I had to come at him kind of strong.
Yeah,
like,
boy moms gotta be rough. Y'all can't be like, oh, what's that? No, you gotta be...
And then my fear always was like, Torsten, like, you are being so aggressive, and it's gonna cause problems, like, if you're ever in the wrong hands. And my fear always is like, he's a mixed kid, he's not gonna be seen as mixed, he's gonna be seen as black, which is fine. He identifies himself now as a black person too, so that's great. I want his identity to be whatever he wants it to be, not what I choose for it to be. But my fear was like, if you talk like that to authority figure, your ass is going to jail. They don't love you, they don't care. You're gonna mess around and want to talk so much because you like to talk so crazy to me that you're gonna say things that are gonna get you forever in jail, and I don't want that for my kid. And so I was kind of hard on him because I'm like, good God, number one, learn to shut up. He was always coming back with something. I was like, oh my God.
I think that's something parents do want to see, like, can you shut up?
Because my rule for Torsten always was, if something ever happens, you don't talk to the police, you be nice, you be disrespectful, you ask for your lawyer, and you ask for your mom or dad, and you shut up. Just learn to shut up. Don't say nothing. Because he's a special need person. He's going to tell you a story. That story, 95% of the time, is a lie.
Yeah.
He likes to make it seem like he's more than what he is. He doesn't understand that what he's trying to be is not going to be appreciated in the eye of most law enforcement personnel.
Especially.
So that was a lot of my fear. So I was very aggressive with him, like trying to get him to mellow out, like get with the program. And you know, he ended up having to get some help and stuff too. Lord knows, and I probably made him get some damn help. Who knows? But I took him there.
So funny.
So, you know, I just think like people look at you like how you are right now. I'm a very patient, peaceful person, but at that stage in my life, I was like very vocal. And if I'm being honest and truthful, I'd have to be humble in other areas too. Like, I actually used to talk crazy to a man that I love. Like, you do some crazy stuff, you come home, I'm gonna talk so crazy to you.
Now,
But
it's
that's
more
not how you
communicating.
talk to people. That's how you make everything worse.
Right.
You know, like, but my mindset was like, I'm going to let you know how I feel about this. The Lord knows I'm not going to tell you the right way.
So now you have to
Step
be
back.
small.
You know, and
Look at the
I was
bigger
not
picture.
being humble. I was being prideful, and I wanted to be justified. And I don't need those things in my life anymore because I know that I am who I am, and it has very little to do with my identity of myself is my identity. I don't have to take on the identity of everybody that I love.
Yes.
I can be myself without having to make the people that I love be 100% part of me, and that's why, like, I know it's hard when you go to church and people tell you that stuff's not right at home, that's just your own damn sin or whatever. I know that's hard. I do believe there is a greater thing. I know there is a God. And it's hard to be part of some organizations when you're going through things because they make you feel like, well, if something's not right, it's just because you're not living right. And that's not true. I just want to be the voice out there to let you know that that's not true because I'm a great person. I mean, I know that doesn't sound very humble, but
You are. You are.
everybody is a great person. I know people that other people don't think are nothing, but I think they're great people. They're coming ahead and they're doing a great job. And you should feel good about yourself, regardless of what you're going through at home. And I used to go through it just like everybody else went through it or is going through it at some time in their life.
Rain on one man's house.
And I can always, and people like that overcome those situations or that lifestyle. A lot of people would just try to blame it on other people, but that's not how I overcame it. I overcame it by working on me. So I'll be real humble and let you know that I was crazy. I was a hothead. I used to say whatever the heck I used to want to say.
Humility is the feeling first before the accountability. You have to.
Yeah.
No.
So just be humble, be yourself, work on yourself. That's how you get your inner peace, and recognize that you can be a better person any day of the week whenever you decide to be, because all you got to do is have a desire to do something more with your life, and you will. And don't let people judge you or put you in a box because yesterday you did this, that today they feel like you can't be that. Yes, you can.
Yep.
Yeah, if yesterday you were a selfish, arrogant person and today you're like, you know what, I'm going to work on humility, trust me, you can.
You
And
can.
nobody's going to hold you against that. And if people do, just keep it moving because they don't love you.
Yep.
I mean, I hate to break it down like that, but I think that's what keeps people sometimes from changing, like the people they think love them. But those people don't even want you to change because they already put a label on you. They're not willing to switch it up.
Right.
But I want to encourage you to change your labels and switch things up for the better.
Yes.
Not for the worse, but definitely for the better.
The biggest room in the world is the room for growth.
Yeah, grow every day. And don't make yourself feel like you're in a... People sometimes feel like this is me. 45 years old. I think this is a part of me, but I'm going to keep being me, and my me is going to evolve and change daily and weekly. And you know, we don't come on this 64 weeks of nonviolence to be like arrogant or something. That's not what we're doing. We want to promote peace. We want to promote peace in our environment. We want to let people know that we're humans just like everybody else, and that every day is another opportunity for you to create peace in your life. And don't worry about people judging you because they're going to do it whether you're peaceful or whether you're violent. So just work on you and don't worry about it. If yesterday was like the worst day of your life and you feel like you can't face the world again, yeah, you can. And if you need to switch it up and hang out with different people, just do that.
Yep.
It's okay, because people that really love you, they want you to change. Any day that you're ready to change into a better person. And I would always think like change is great as long as that change is fostering peace.
Agreed.
Whatever road that takes you on, because there's different roads for different people.
It is.
Yeah, we don't want to be judgy or anything like that. That's not what this is about. I try to be very honest and humble. I'm crazy. Now I'm crazy in love, but back then I was just crazy. I was just in love and crazy, like in a crazy way. Like I really was. Like I was, you know, so I just feel like it's okay. It's all part of evolution and change and growth and like forming your roots. Like people feel like, oh, I am who I am, but you ain't even got no roots yet. 19. The tree's gonna blow over as soon as the hurricane comes.
You ain't lying.
It's okay. I'm starting to grow my roots, but I also feel like my roots are probably only 10 feet.
Yeah.
But palm tree roots, like what kind of root system do they have? I mean, a hurricane will come and they'll still be there. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, just be a palm. If you're gonna be something, just be a palm tree. Just grow your roots.
No, I'm just playing.
But back to topic, like we want to encourage you to have humility and to be humble and to be able to admit your mistakes. We come on here and we try to admit mistakes too, you know. because it's part of getting over stuff.
And getting older.
Yeah, and just a part of like, hey, this is what it is. And I just, shout out to Basa. His logo is begin humble. So I was just thinking of that, So if you're, need a t-shirt or something like that, definitely look him up. Look him up because he's
Begin humble.
Yeah, doing what he does. And since we're talking about humility, I thought we'd just put that in there. So I'm just going to read some things here. When pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with humility comes wisdom. And if you know you're a Bible thumper, and I am sometimes too, go to Proverbs 11:2, you can read that, and then you can read any of these other quotes. Like, a lot of humility is like just being willing to change. Whatever touches you, you can read. I thought they were all kind of cool.
Okay. A sudden humility descend upon the king. He felt as so many men were to feel in similar circumstances in ages to come. As though he were a child looking eagerly for guidance to an all-wise master, a child, moreover, handicapped by water on the brain, feet 3 sizes too large for him, and hands consistently mainly of thumbs.
So I love this because even if you feel like you're a king or a queen, just be humble, because when you don't, you're going to walk around like you're retarded. Because that's what that means, water on the brain.
Water on the brain, I ain't never heard that.
Feet 3 sizes too big.
Wow.
No fingers, just thumbs. That's what happens when you are all about yourself.
I gotta say that.
So I just picked these little quotes because they were part of a definition thing, and I thought it gives like humility or being humble like another perspective, and they're from books, So
I didn't reread it like, oh, they do shade. We were just humble palm trees.
Anything else out of there? There's like 5 different quotes. If you think any of them else are
Eating grits and fatback for breakfast and washing up every morning in cold water from a hydrant in the backyard help one learn humility and humanity.
Yeah, and we're reading that Trevor Noah book, and the thing about Trevor Noah and his family is that it didn't matter how rich you got in that community, you still had toilets you had to share, all houses in the back. That'll keep you humble too. And the other thing that I love about that book is that in that community, everybody built driveways, even though nobody had cars, because that was the hope. They were keeping the hope alive.
Oh, no, that's right.
But, I'll shout out to Trevor Noah. We're going to start that book next week. But I just want to, be humble, have some humility, and be humble and have some humility when you're dealing with other people, because you don't know where they're at. Like I know, like my mom, like when she lived in Germany with her parents, like they're all successful and doing well now, but part of what they used to have to do is they had a kitchen sink where you would do your kitchen and work stuff, and then there was another sink in the kitchen where you would do your hygiene, and that was how you washed up. So the sink wasn't one sink, but it was like, it was a humble way of life. Like, you didn't even have a real bathroom. You had a toilet, but you had a sink where you washed off. That's where you put the bath, wash your hair, everything else. But it's so nice to have a bathroom now with a toilet, bathtub, shower.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so, and I think all our parents probably came from some kind of a, I don't know, to me that's pretty new age, but you know what I mean, like grandma. Think about your grandma.
My grandma.
Yeah. Alexa, turn off the alarm. And then I'm just, Alexa, turn off your alarm. Alexa, turn off the alarm. What is she so upsetting?
Alexa, turn off alarm.
Alexa. She's not gonna hear you.
You just said you didn't want to scream. Now Alexa got you. Alexa! Probably over the fan.
Alexa. Alexa. Oh man. Okay, hold on a minute. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna turn that volume down. Good God, woman.
That's fine.
So just be humble, and be patient with people. And we all come from different backgrounds. We all live in the same world. We just have to, not get a big head, because I ain't gonna lead to anything.
Nope.
That's good. And just I don't know. I like this one. I realize now that she had an awareness of the nature of the order of life and of the necessity of living with and respecting with elders. With this respect comes a necessary humility that we, with our 21st century, lack sometimes. It's just another thing, but I ain't going into all that. And that's by Billy Joel Weird. But I'm just saying, like, don't, just be humble, be respectful, try to be open. Like, try to learn from the people that are around you that have some age on them, because they have gone through everything that you've gone through, and they can give you good advice if that's what you're looking for, or at least you can listen to their story and see, like, how you want to improve yours, I would say. Work with your kids on letting them talk to you about the mistakes that they make, because it's hard for some grown-ups, and I know some of these grown-ups, to admit mistakes because they've never had a mistake in their life. Then when you need to do it as a human, you can't do it, and it'll affect your life forever, because you'll have to walk around with a grudge, or you have to walk around, like, just don't be that person, or just walk around like you're better than the whole entire world. Like, we're just all humans. We're not on some type of a scale here, like, it's just like we all live good when we all love each other. That's usually how that works. And you can't love people if you think that you're better than everybody, or you have to justify yourself into just being respectful or whatever, or getting what you need out of life. And I just want to encourage young adults that are still screaming and fussing at their kids. You might want to save your breath, because I don't know if all that was necessary that I did. But I mean, it was part of my adult growing up and parenting, and people will like judge you by what you're going through with your kids, because they just want to put it all on you. But kids are who they are. They will behave the way they want to behave. And trust me, the stuff that my kid did, I would have never did, or would have never said. Right. But that's all about, like, generations changing too. People just have a different idea about how they want to live their life. So I don't know. We just want you guys to, try to swallow your pride sometimes and be humble. You're still awesome.
Yep.
And it'll help. Like, I put this thing on Facebook today, or yesterday, I don't know. It was a really nice quote, and it kind of said, don't talk to people when you're feeling a certain way about a situation, because those words that you say, it probably won't mean a whole lot. Like, try to speak about your situations that you have with people when you're at peace with yourself, not when you're emotional and in an uproar, because a lot of those words you can't take back, and you don't really mean them. You're just speaking straight from emotions. So be humble and learn to be quiet until you can figure out where you stand on things, because your first stand may not be your permanent stand, but then it's so hard to get to that permanent stand when you vocalize that first response out of anger, hate, disrespect, or whatever. So my advice to any young person is just learn to be quiet, which is all I ever wanted my kid to do, and I probably would have been a lot quieter. Because if you learn to be quiet, then you can talk about it when you're at peace with it. When you talk about things when you're not at peace with it, it won't be good conversations. I don't think. I haven't had a whole lot of good conversations like that. So, peace out. Have a good week. We'll come back at you next week with, let's see, Reverence. So we'll come back with that, and we'll just talk about that a little bit. And if you just can work on being humble this week, I mean, I'm sure it'll
be rewarding.
Yeah, for yourself personally. All this stuff is just personal reward for yourself if you work on it every week. And if you can't work on it with yourself, try to work on it with your kids, because the next generation will be able to handle it better if we talk about it more and have more conversations with them about these things to equip them. I also put a thing on Facebook about meditation.
Did you?
It said if we taught all sixth graders to meditate, it began at that stage with just teaching kids, take deep breaths, relax, think about what you want to do, how you're going to get there. Like, meditation a lot of times to me is deeper planning, more peaceful planning, even just teaching kids to breathe when they're upset.
Yes.
Like, that little thing will create so much more peace. It said that we have a non-violent world, so I hope we can get to that. That's what I would.
People gonna choose not to meditate, Lieutenant.
It's your right not to meditate, whatever.
Right. It'll be something else.
But we'll let you go. We're not going to keep you forever. And we thank you for your time.
Have a good night. Oh my day, you got to meditate.
But did you sleep?